Hey everybody, it's Rob here. We finally got the Diablo 4 roadmap for 2025 and they just confirmed they are putting leaderboards into the game and we're getting sort of new endgame content here with dungeon escalation and harder nightmare dungeon activities in general. I'm going to link all this post here. There's a ton more details. There's also an interview with Riker. You can find all the sources below. Let's talk about the roadmap and the details here. So this roadmap is for the year 2025 and also a little bit of a preview of what's to come in 2026 with the new expansion. So we already know we have Witchcraft and we have the Belial's Return here starting on the 29th of April, guys. So in a few weeks from now, the 29th, the season is going to start. That's in exactly 3 weeks from now and we're getting the boss powers. This was already confirmed. We're getting the new layer bosses. Then in July, we are going to get the Sins of the Horadrim. And with this, we're going to get Horadric powers, quest and reputation board. So this kind of sounds to me that we are hopefully getting like some way of Horadric's cube as well, maybe where we can extract these powers or we can do something with those powers. But we're definitely going to have quite some power creep here and going to get a pretty strong with those Horadric powers. And then here, a new dungeon escalation event. There was a few more details that were talked about in the interview that we'll cover here in a second. That this is basically like, it seems like some sort of like hard endgame activity where they put like different tiers on some of those dungeons and have like a way to escalate the dungeon to make it a lot harder. On top of this, obviously, every season we're going to get an earnable pet. And then for the 29th April season, we're also going to get a new IP collab and a 2-year Diablo anniversary is going to be in the summer. There's going to be an event for that as well. And they talked a little bit about the IP collabs. They definitely want to do something that fits the dark theme of Diablo 4. But I would also like to see, and maybe a revival of like maybe a Netflix collaboration, because I know Blizzard was already working with Netflix in the past, and then there were some problems, but I would love to see, you know, a Diablo kind of movie at some point. This was not announced, but just looking into some of these like cool cinematics that we have, especially in Diablo 4, but also here in Diablo 2 back in the days, and having like some sort of, you know, like Diablo movie or Diablo series, that would be just so sick, basically, to me. So maybe this is at some point on the horizon. We'll see. Then we talked about the next season here in September. Season 10 is going to start, and this is going to focus on the Infernal Hordes. That's been basically a fan favorite feature, and they also wanted to basically work on the system even more and make it also harder. So there's going to be new chaos powers coming, quest and reputation board. It seems like they are really doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on these, like, you know, having like a seasonal power board. Like we had the vampiric powers, then we have the witch powers, then we have the boss powers, then we have the Horadric powers, then we get the chaos power. So it seems like we're always going to have this like kind of like progression borrowed power board with reputation and quests, plus the Infernal Horde updates. And they also hinted that this is going to be potentially very challenging. And then maybe this is also going to go into the leaderboards. We'll see. They weren't really clear on what the leaderboards will be for. But this I could possibly see being one part of the systems where we basically get like a crazy like Infernal Hordes, different rewards between the waves and different ways to choose and basically make the player decision to make the content hard, basically. This is all going to be under the Age of Hatred continues. And then also new pet, new IPable collab. And then they talked about 2026, and it looks like they're hinting towards the expansion coming early in 2026, early here, with this new ranking system, with a new leaderboard system. And then you can see here, there's also something new, something written. And Riker in his interview, he did some forensic analysis of this. And he was zooming in, and you can kind of see here new .c and then double S. So this basically will mean that there's a new class coming, guys. I mean, we kind of already knew this. There's going to be a new class. And they also hinted in this in the interview with Brad Gibson, who is the director of the expansions of Diablo 4. Great guy. And he's working on this. And he was not denying that it's a paladin, guys. So most likely, this is going to be a paladin. The paladin will be coming here in early 2026, I hope. And looking at this roadmap, it kind of lines up a little bit of an early release, because you can kind of see by going over the dates here that all these seasons are like three months long, and then the last season, season 10, Season of Infernal Chaos, looks to already be 4 months. And then this, to me at least, Copium, fingers crossed, hints to a January release of the expansion and of the Paladin. And this also is kind of going hand in hand with what Riker was hinting at in his video. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, this is just speculation. This doesn't say it, but it looks to be early 2026 for the Paladin, whatever they're going to call it. They might call it Crusader, they might call it Holy Knight, but it's going to be like a sword and board holy archetype class, like 99.9% basically. People want their witch dogs, yeah. And then they also talked about more permanent addition to the game that comes with each season. So in Season 9, Sins of the Horadrim, we're going to get this new Nightmare Dungeon activity. We're going to get console support for keyboard and mouse and much more quality of lives. We're going to get these reliquaries, and we're going to get a season journey update. They talked about this a bit more in the interview as well, where they basically want to make us as the player be able to choose a lot more in terms of rewards with those season journeys. So we will be able to, choose which direction we want to go for the rewards and stuff like that. Then they also talked more details about the ranking system here in the interview, and they basically said they did learn a lot from the Gauntlet. They said the Gauntlet was a good learning experience for them here in Riker's interview with Brett. I'm going to link that below, by the way. That's going to be it was a good experience for them what not to do. So they want to involve a lot more of those players in the leaderboard. So the way I understand it, the leaderboards, also in my opinion, are not only for the top players. A lot of people remember it from Diablo 3, where you can compare to the top players and you can check out their build. You can see what they are playing. It gives you a good idea of like what's strong right now. But you can also compete, within your clan, within your guild. You can compete within your friend list. You can even compete with yourself from yesterday. You don't have to, compete for the top ranks of the leaderboard. Like, you just compete, in your friend circle and see who is maybe the highest there, or like, I don't know, how you compare yourself to like a streamer, or like, to your friends and stuff. So they also want to involve a lot more people in this like ranking leaderboard system, and hopefully they're going to have this inspect function so you can really see, what kind of build people are playing over there and what they are basically doing over there in the leaderboards. And I think this is going to be amazing, and I hope there's going to be like, some rewards locked to this as well. I think, you can say a lot of negative things about Diablo Immortal, but there was always, some participation like trophy for like, being in the, I don't know, top 1,000, top 10,000 in the leaderboard. Like, maybe you get like some reward to it, similar how it was to the Gauntlet, just like a more juicy, like a cool reward of some sort. That would be cool. Overall, guys, with this interview, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming for Diablo for sure. And I'm just really excited for the expansion. Like, a Paladin was definitely my favorite class in Diablo 2. Like, you had this like auras, you had the cool holy attacks, and getting something like this, and obviously getting a continuation of the story. And hopefully this time, because a lot of people were disappointed that we didn't finish off Mephisto in the Vessel of Hatred expansion. And hopefully this time, in early 2026, fingers crossed, we'll finally, fully beat this Mephisto guy, And maybe then we'll actually face Diablo, because Brad in the interview, he also hinted at that the new expansion is gonna have to do something with the Horadrim, and that's also gonna have something to do with the Paladin most likely. So I'm super excited about it. Check out Riker's interview. I'm gonna link that below. Ton of cool stuff happening. People are discussing it already. Let me know what you think in the comments. I was kind of a bit hoping that we're gonna get a little more details, like just, learn a little more about it. This is basically like a one-page post here that goes a bit into this as well, but it's not really like all too crazy details. They basically just teased us, but more stuff to come here very soon, they said. I'm fully expecting the expansion to be released, to be announced this summer, and the class to be announced as well, latest in August with Gamescom. So we'll see. Paladin, fingers crossed. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.